That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
I spent 2 hours watching a movie whose title sounds like the name of a dirty porno theater, and all I got was this hate boner. Have any of you ever seen the film Empire? It's a movie from 1965 directed by Andy Warhol. Yeah, that Andy Warhol. Want to know what it's about?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
The premise is the director left his camera running and went to go get milk from the same store my dad did. It is literally just one continuous shot of the Empire State Building. And to add insult to injury, Warhol intended it to be viewed at 16 frames per second instead of the usual 24, extending its monstrous 6.5-hour runtime to 8 hours and 5 minutes. Now, not a single person, except maybe someone who was freshly lobotomized, would actually sit through that kind of torture willingly. And while I wouldn't dare to genuinely compare an utterly boring, vain project such as Empire to something like today's subject, I will say, at least Empire's lack of audio prevented it from having children whispering nonsense too close to the mic ASMR, and it didn't need inconsistent subtitles for people speaking in English.
Kevin, run into the tunnel. You can trust me. It's real.
This is 2 hours of white noise ambience, the movie. This is Cinema Stink. Skinamarink, which sounds like a Swedish drain cleaner. The film's origins were that it started as a 28-minute short film shown at the Video Scream International Film Festival in 2020. You can actually find it on YouTube. The short film, appropriately titled Heck, is, well, it's about what I expected. More of the same, walls, whispers, and some kind of abstraction of horror rather than a cohesive narrative. So if you're like me and you didn't like the feature film version of Skidmark Hockey Rink, this is just a somewhat more traditional found footage version of it, with the added bonus that it's less than half an hour and, I think personally, does this whole spooky audio and analog video concept way better as a result. Though I'd be hard-pressed to call it great. It's definitely an acquired taste. The director, Kyle Edward Ball, who is clearly a pretty talented and passionate guy, got his chance to turn the whole Heck project into a full movie on a small budget, with a limited theatrical release. And you know what? That's awesome! No, really, a true underdog story like David F. Sandberg in his film Lights Out were. And I want to say up front how proud I am of him as a fellow film enthusiast and content creator, but the reason I think it worked better as a short film on YouTube is because A, it was a short, so there wasn't time for all this slow, abstract fluff that tries to be storytelling but just kind of drags, and B, it was free. And yeah, that matters, because if you paid to see this in the theaters expecting a coherent horror movie, you'd be more disappointed than a pedophile at BronyCon. I mean, can you imagine if you liked the aesthetic from the trailer back in 2022 when it first dropped and decided to pay the frankly extortionate prices to go to the theater on your only weekend off, rightfully expecting a somewhat comprehensible film, and getting more invested in peeling dead skin off your arm or thinking about how numb your ass is? And I've seen people say they're afraid of this movie. Like, people are glazing it, saying how unique it is and that it really scared them, and I'm just like, I'm curious, did you people all drink from the same water?
There are tons and tons of shots of hallways and walls, dark closets, carpet, the couch.
Is this one of those tests where if I believe you, then I'm retarded?
No, you're retarded.
Okay, look, I may make jokes and sound mad about skink on my kink or the people who enjoy it, but I'm really just venting my experience as someone who did not. Let me rant and I will happily let you enjoy watching a movie that's name sounds like a slur from Middle Earth, okay? Okay. I'll even give it its dues. It has some creepy atmosphere and unsettling vibes. And it's a good fit for people who like interpreting, theorizing, and decoding movies with massive patience, like MatPat fans trying to predict the second coming of Christ using a FNAF hot sauce label, but my criticism should be just as valid as your appreciation of it, right? I've read the plot summaries, theories, and glowing YouTube comments, and honestly, the part that eats me away isn't even the movie, it's the unanimous kindness? Like, if this were made by a more controversial director, it would have been torn apart, no question. Yet it's glazed harder than a Krispy Kreme dozen, probably because it's the first professional film to tap into that analog horror, backrooms aesthetic the internet is constantly gooning over. I just think that this concept was not meant to be a feature film. And if you must do it, you can keep the grainy video, the creepy lo-fi audio, the eerie childhood house ambiance, but tell a more forward and traditional story. Stretching this out feels like adapting one of those joke YouTube videos, 10 hours of silence occasionally interrupted by the bad to the bone riff, into a movie. Occasionally something happens, sure, but it's just not worth the time. The dread doesn't last. Something substantial or consistent needs to happen to keep me engaged.
Hey, Squidward, shut the fuck up. I don't know what your problem is, man.
No, I'm not asking for TikTok brain rot or jump scares, I'm just asking for substance. The film can have all the subtext and literal text it wants, but something in between those two extremes would be nice. Let's prove my point. What's the scariest scene everyone agrees on? Probably this one, right? Wow, that was actually tense and pretty scary. The claustrophobic hallways and barely visible corners swell as if to choke us. The bedroom's quiet and the worried voice of the child, with the hushed voice of their mother urging them to look under the bed. And the payoff? It's slow. Definitely a slow burn. But the creature's not even under there. It comes after. This is one of like 3 scenes that shift into this found footage POV format, and it actually shows some spooky stuff. It's effective. It's almost like we go to movies to see stuff move. You know what did this better? Paranormal Activity. That movie got flack for being Watching People Sleep, the movie, and you know what? As reductive as that is, it's fair enough. It is a lot of people sleeping, isn't it? And doing mundane routine shit. So why can't we lobby the same complaint at Pretty in Pink? I mean Skinamarink. It's like 98% walls or dark corridors with even less happening.
Well, why don't you just move the M&Ms?
Why don't you shut up?
And I don't say this often. No, I mean, I really try not to, but it's pretentious. It's pretentious. I don't even blame the director. I blame the YouTube film critics who got tricked into watching a carpet sample catalog and convinced themselves and each other that it was the godfather of horror films. Well, to quote Peter Griffin,
Did not like the movie.
What didn't you like about it?
It insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It takes forever getting in. You spend like 6.5 hours, and then, I can't even get through. I can't even finish a movie.
like, am I crazy? I watched it late at night, far from any windows or light sources. Deep in the dark of my friend's home theater, distant muted crickets were our only background noise in an otherwise pure silence. Nothing distracted me, no bathroom breaks were needed. We even had a pretty good surround sound, and it was cast on a large, expensive TV. Literally the perfect environment for the ambiance and experience that everyone was praising to seep in, and nothing. I got nothing. Yes, it captures childhood fear through imagery and sound very well. That takes skill. But what else? The story barely got across in the movie itself. We had to pause early on and Google if we accidentally downloaded a real, equally bad snuff film. And I know I'm nobody to talk, but the audio is so bad. Not just lo-fi, I mean sometimes it's so objectively poor that they have to add in little subtitles for the most important pieces of dialogue. Because if you missed those whispered, barely audible lines, drop a Skittle and duck to grab it, take a quick piss and come back to your girlfriend who fell asleep a while ago, you're far past fucked. I don't think the FBI could crack this case without the internet's help. I will give credit to those who, I don't know how, but have decoded and pieced together some of the story as the author most likely intended it. But really think about how much is up to our interpretation. And in a film where the creators thought the saying "a picture's worth 1,000 words" was literal, Listen, I know the people who enjoy this movie will definitely try to defend it, but much like a flat earther ruining his own marriage, I just start to feel pity. On top of me being bored to tears, they worked so hard to not show the kids' faces. It just doesn't work or feel natural. Like, part of why we aren't allowed to film more than corners or empty rooms is because the director said we had to hide their faces. It's like a film student screaming, "I'm different," in dyed hair and piercings. It's a rebellion against convention for the sake of it, not to elevate the project in any meaningful way. People will say it's just a different kind of scary. Right, like Hannah Gadsby is just a different kind of funny. Tommy Wiseau's face is scarier than this movie. The parts of The Conjuring without ghosts in it are scarier. I've had more visceral reactions to losing Wi-Fi than from watching Two in the Pink, One in the Rink. Did that bitch from The Ring make this? Because if so, her little film project in that movie had more plot, energy, and shots of things that weren't just fucking carpet follicles. I would sooner die watching her crusty VHS tape than having to die of boredom watching almost anything I saw in Shit in the Sink ever again.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Okay, look, I liked the aesthetic. The analog horror vibe, it rules. The POV moments really had me getting invested. And I'm being a bit dramatic for entertainment purposes. But come on, man. Two kids sealed in a house, slowly going insane as they lose contact with reality? Awesome premise. The idea of being separated from your parents, forced to eat stale and rotting food as you spend days, weeks inside of a dark and ever-changing house that used to be home to you, with less and less faculties to bathe or even go to the shitter. Bro, they took their shitter from them! And yet, I want them dead within 20 minutes because this overly played up and barely intelligible whisper babble that they play right in your fucking ears is so annoying to me. And I'm sorry to the young actors and everyone who liked this, but it is. I understand that artistically this way of talking is how we would sometimes talk when we were children and when we were scared or alone, but we also shit our pants, ate paste, and thought Barney the dinosaur was real. So maybe, I don't know, we don't need a cinematic equivalent for every annoying thing we did as kids. So, wrapping this up. If you haven't seen this yet and you want to check it out, then please do. I'm not going to stop you, but I can't in good conscience promote this movie without reminding you one last time that it is almost like a modern art experiment disguised as a horror movie, or a movie in general. If that excites you, go right ahead. If it sounds like torture, watch Heck on YouTube instead. I'll link it in the description below. That's how it's meant to be viewed. I don't know, man. Maybe part of the extra strong distaste I have for this whole thing is that it feels a bit like a scam. Definitely not intentionally, but from the trailer to the poster to being in the horror category on streaming sites, it builds expectations it just can't fulfill. You'll be shocked how 90% of this is just still imagery, faint noise, and a few spooky POV scenes. And when they do enter this first-person view, you'll just be wishing that that was the whole movie. If the highlight of your theatrical experience is someone sneezing behind you, or the janitor turning on the lights when it's over and waking you up, well, maybe that speaks for itself. Hey, you there. Quick little update. I've been streaming on Twitch regularly. You should come hang out, play games, tell me I'm wrong and a poopy head for hating your beloved masterpieces. It's all love.
The voids keeping the neighbors apart, as if grazing the hollow of a cut reed, or say, a plundered mailbox. A familiar note. Ah!
We're live.
A familiar note is perceived.
Stop reading, I'm stuck! I promise I've got more video plans on the way, too. Peace, guys.